Okay. So for the recording, we are in chapter 14, talking about two-way ANOVA. This is, which item is this? Is this item 1 or item 2? Item 2 on the homework? I believe it's item 2. So it's section A, number 6, specifically part B. Okay.
Yeah, it's item 2 and yeah.
Okay, so I see, let's see, so your table, your means table, you got all filled out correctly. Okay.
Yep.
And what did you think about making these plots? Was that fun?
Yeah, it was interesting. I was nervous when I was a little nervous. I wouldn't know, like I wouldn't do it right, but they were pretty easy.
Yeah. I can't figure out, I wish I could make it so one was a dashed line and one was a solid line, but I couldn't figure out how to make the program do that. So, and then Stephen helped understand how to do the mean squared within. The formula says for each of the groups, which we do each of the cells, so each of the 4 cells, you take the standard deviation, square it, add it up, divide by 4. Bingo. So now you're on the part B where you're doing the other mean squareds. So the very first one said to look at the interaction in your plot to determine if there's an interaction. You have done that correctly. So if you look at your plot that you made, the lines are perfectly parallel. Doesn't happen in real life, but it did on this made up problem. So that is correct. The mean squared for the interaction is actually 0. So that's perfect on that one. And for the other ones, for the F statistics, they are all 1 in 36. That's true.
I don't know if that's right. Yeah.
So let me see. The critical value, you have to do 1 in 30. And that's not what I've written here, but that doesn't mean that's not right. So it's the rows in column F statistics that we need to worry about. Correct?
Yeah, I was just a little confused on what all of this means. I tried a few different things, but I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's pull up the slides. The formulas were on the slides. Do you have the slides downloaded, or can we go to?
I do. Do I have to share? Let me see.
If you shared your whole desktop screen, then when you bring them up, I should see it. If you shared only, yeah, there you go. So there that is. But if you go, let's see, up to slide, I think it's 22. Yes. So first you have to do the sum of squared. And this is to do the mean sum of squared, you do sum of squared. So if we look in this orange box, that top equation, there's the 2 alternate forms. The top form is the one that pencil paper works best. So you're going to take each of the row means. Those are the X bar row 1, X bar row 2, X bar row 3, which you only have 2 rows in this example. So you're going to take the 2 row means and from them subtract the grand mean, square it, and then add it up. So if you go back now to slide 32. So where it says under the first column source, look at row groups. Yep, so in your exam problem you're working on, there's 2 rows, vegetarians and non-vegetarians. So little r is 2.
Right.
So the N, so we've got a formula for SS, a formula for degrees of freedom, which you figured out is 1, and then mean squared. So let's look at that formula for the mean squared. So it says, if we look inside the parentheses on the top, it says take each of the X bar i's, and then if we look at the sigma, I is going from 1, 2, 3, 4 up to R. R is, in your case, 2. So you've got 1 and 2. So for each row, 1 and 2, you're going to take the row's average, subtract the grand average, and square it. And you're going to do that for both of the rows, add it up, and then you're going to divide by r minus 1, and then times by n little r. N little r is the number in each row. So if we go back to Canvas, to the assignment, and look at your mean table.
I think.
I'll let you
Okay.
analyze that. Yes, perfect. Okay, so if you go to, so you have two rows, vegetarians and non-vegetarians. So your row averages are 65 and 70. And your grand average is down in that green in the corner is 67.5. So you're going to take each of the row averages, 65 and 70, subtract the grand average, 67.5.
Square them.
Square those differences, add it up. So first you take the 65, the first row's average, minus the 67.5, subtract and square.
Okay, so that's 6.25.
6.25, yep. And then you're gonna do the other group, the non-vegetarians, that second row, its average is 70, subtract the grand average of 67.5. So subtract those and square it.
Oh, 70 minus 67.5.
70 minus 67.5, yep. Each row,
so that's also
it also is 6.25. And that happens when you have exactly two rows. Those subtract and squares will be the same thing. And then, so you add that up,
that makes sense.
12.5.
And
so if we go down,
multiply it times.
So how many are in each row? 20, yeah.
There's 10 in each cell.
10 in each cell, so each row has 2 cells. So if we look at that first yellow box that's under 6B,
right,
no interaction, so the mean squared row, so that top of that fraction is where you've taken each of the rows average, subtracted the grand average, squared, and added those together, that's 12.5. The bottom of the fraction is going to be number of rows minus 1. So the bottom of the fraction is going to be 1. And then out front, we have to times by n row, the number per row, which is 20.
Okay.
So what do we get for mean squared row?
250.
250. I should have had a box for you to enter that.
So then don't we do 250 divided by 291.5?
Yeah, so then to make the F statistic, we take our mean squared for that, for the rows, and divide by mean squared within cell, the 291.5.
Okay, that number makes a lot more sense.
Yay. Yay! We like sense.
Than what I was. Okay, well, I think I can do the next one.
Not then. That. Oh, wait, yeah, it is. I've got them in the reverse order. So that way you did the rows for diet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to do it on the columns. So take the 2 column averages, subtract the grand average, square, add up, divide by 1, times by 20.
Right.
Now I want to double check.
Thank you. That's
your table value here.
The only question I had for now, because I think my Wi-Fi connection's bad in my kitchen.
Okay, well, then we can stop there, and then tomorrow we'll have office hours at 3:30 to 5 if you have more questions.
Okay, did you say, so what table do we look at for the critical value? Is it still A11?
Oh, originally it said A11, but I changed it. Steve pointed out it needs to be A7.
Oh, okay, so that probably is wrong, because I think I looked at A11.
Yeah,
okay.
Because we need to be looking at an F table with the 0.05 alpha, and then for degrees of freedom R1 and 30, but I think that is not going to be 2.89.
Okay, I can go back and look at that.
Okay, all right. I don't have the table handy. It's in my office.
I do.
You have it online?
But I do. I think it's
somewhere.
Every time I go up. Oh, here we go. Can you see that? Or do I have
Okay, there it
to
is. Yep.
switch screens
So
again?
see this A7, that's the standardized range statistic Q. That's the wrong table. And that's what I had typed in originally. And Steve pointed out the error. It should be A7 because this is the F distribution for alpha 0.05.
Okay.
So
So I'd go 1
and 30.
4.
4.17 is the critical value.
Okay. All right. I'll fix that. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah.
All right, I'll see you in office hours tomorrow just to see what everyone's saying.
Awesome. Good call. Okay. All right. See you then.
Thank you. Bye.